Good evening, you ghost ghouls, goblins, and sexy female vampires. Welcome to Horror Spectacular. Here's host, the Slayer of Evil, Franchise TV.
When I first saw Tobe Hooper's 1974 graphic classic slasher, it didn't do anything for me. I thought it was just meh to me. But then I saw it again. Actually, I saw it a couple of times over, and it finally grew on me. And at first, I thought it was too quick of a movie. Then at least from my standpoint, it didn't get to really absorb anything from the movie. But after probably the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th time, I sat and actually watched it closely. And if you think about the film, this is nothing profound, by the way, but this film is actually scary. Come to think about it. Scary as hell. If you think about it in a real life sense. A crazed, demented man running around with a chainsaw in the middle of nowhere. And your car runs out of gas. And there's nothing but a dilapidated gas station with a bunch of weirdos around there. That can happen any day, you know. But the plot is simplistic. The story starts off crazy grave robbers breaking into graves, posting rotten corpses as monuments. And it almost feels like it's really happened, something that really happened. A group of college kids on a road trip in the middle of nowhere, Texas. One of them, Sally, and to add her brother into the mix, Franklin, were worried about their grandfather's grave being harmed after these rotten corpses were found as monuments. But the grandfather still rests in peace. So they continue on with the trip. But everyone in the van, let's just say they were boneheads for picking up a hitchhiker in the middle of nowhere, Texas. I don't know why they did it. They wanted to feel good about themselves, but this hitchhiker was crazy in the head, insane in the brain. But things slowly turn upside down when this weird druggy looking hitchhiker talking crazy in the teenager's van and slashes Franklin before getting kicked out. Never ever pick up a hitchhiker in the middle of nowhere. I never got that at all. Slowly and surely the kids run out of gas. They look for gas at the gas station. No gas. The kids find a watering hole to swim in and find an old abandoned house with run-down cars. That's another red flag. It really does look like something you would steer away from. But of course these kids never have really trust instinct, and they find themselves in hell. The hell in the form of a huge man with a scary looking weird mask called Leatherface. Kirk, one of the teenage kids, college kids, he gone, hammered. Pam discovers a room of rotten remains of bones and human furniture. Pam, she gets the hook and watches Kirk get chainsawed up. Jerry, another teenager, attempts to look for Pam and Kirk, but discovers Pam's dying body, and Jerry meets Leatherface, becoming another victim. At nightfall, the Slims try to look for their friends, but meet Leatherface. Franklin meets Leatherface's chainsaw, and that's the end for him. Never had a chance. They really did that character dirty. Yeah, you put him in a handicap, and then literally handicap, and you put him in a handicap in a slasher film. Gee whiz. Sally's the only one left, and she really goes through hell, running around on the property screaming to the top of her lungs when no one can hear her scream. She runs into the house, discovers a really old man and a woman's corpse. She runs out of the house, heading to the gas station where she thinks she's found help. Nope. The gas station owner, the hitchhiker, Leatherface, and the really old man are all in on it. All in the same family. All in the family. Oh, that sucks for her. Sally is captured, delivered back to the house where the old man can suck her blood like he's Dracula. Sally passes out. The family starts discussing what they're gonna do with Sally. It's death for her. Leatherface and his family trying to get the old man, aka Grandpa, on the kill, but thanks to this idiot's family's scrambling and scooching and hollering, Sally escapes the house. Leatherface is on the chase. The crazy druggy hitchhiker joins in, but he's killed by the semi-truck driver. The driver of the semi tussles with Leatherface, but Sally finds another Joe, jumping into the bed of the pickup truck and starts laughing hysterically as Leatherface jumps up and down like he's on a trampoline. The end. This film was so bizarre, creepy, shocking, and almost realistic that it grabbed the hearts and emotions of the viewers. Once released, the film did receive mixed reactions, but made money at the box office. But viewers weren't okay with the violence. Keep in mind, this is the 70s and still somewhat being wholesome, even though this is after the sexual revolution in the 60s, but still. This film is realistic. The inspiration for Leatherface and his family dates back to the serial deleter Ed Gein, who committed his violence and gory acts against women in 1950 rural Wisconsin, the birthplace of franchise History TV. Well, not rural Wisconsin. Lived in the city, Wisconsin. But anyway, that's not important. But the biggest gift Tobe Hooper gave when he created this film will become one of the most influential slasher horror films of all time. A film that influenced John Carpenter to create Halloween and Michael Myers. Films like Tourist Trap, who had a maniac running in a mask turning victims into dummy, kind of almost the same setting as Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The House of 1,000 Corpses, and in a weird way, the Alien franchise, and so on and so on. I like how the film was influenced by, the 50s family shows that had everyone eating at the table. But of course, in this film, in its own demented, crazy, cooked up way. Yeah, crazy, ain't it? And let's not forget giving us horror's greatest film villains with Leatherface, and iconic too. Now, this film did receive big flack for the violence against women and animals. Some view this film as a pro-vegetarian, and pro-animist rights due to the description from Franklin about slaughterhouses and what's being done in them. Now, this film did spawn a franchise like they always do. They include sequels and remakes, and a sequel that was never made. And after that, we received Chainsaw Massacre 2022 of the Texas.
Recommend the Preston ashamed.
It's safe to say this franchise should stay silent after that outing. But of course, Hollywood is going to Hollywood and make another film in this franchise. Now, how do I feel about Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1974? Well, many years later, I think it's a decent film. Once again, I had to bring the simplicity of the film. Young adults on a road trip run into a bunch of crazy, murderous idiots with chainsaws and hammers. Very realistic. This is something that actually could happen in real life. And the weapon of choice? Chainsaw. Brilliant. It's loud. It's disturbing, especially when it's quiet around you. It makes you very vigilant on a road trip, especially when out there in the middle of nowhere. This film, with no familiarities. A brilliant film. And it has lasted the test of time, where the tropes are still being used in horror films to this day. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Video over.
Damn fool!